Welcome to the Fantasy Football Garage. I'm Chris. My friends call me the Candyman. You already know what time it is. Tonight, we're drafting best ball teams. It's the big board 2026 pre NFL draft best ball, and we're getting after it, talking ADP changes from the opening or one day in, and things are already moving. I posted something on Twitter today. If you don't already follow me there and you're on x.com, follow me at FFB Garage. I was posting some things about the top 20 risers since the ranks changed to ADPs in the last 24 hours, and things are still moving. So we're going to get into that. I think tonight we're going to start it off with talking through some free agents, talking through the free agent status, who we think is likely to stay with their team, like Daniel Jones, or who we think is going to move on to a brand new team, whoever that could be. We'll figure all of that out and more, and then draft some big board teams. Of course, if you're new to the channel, if you're watching this in the future, make sure you're subscribed. I've got a goal to hit 1,000 subs before the start of the 2026 NFL season. I think we can do it, but I need your help. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free. Come get in here, join the channel, say what up in the chat, come be a part of this, come draft with us. And the whole point is to have some fun, draft some teams, learn about this new rookie class, all the movement going on in the NFL during the offseason, and drafting some sick fantasy teams, trying to ship some of these contests. So let's do it. Let's help each other out. And I'm going to hit the intro. When I come back, we're going to talk about free agency. Oh, and one last thing, the schedule for this week. So normally Monday nights, we're going to do the Ballsy show. We had our first season 2 episode of Ballsy last night, Bindles and I. Check that one out if you haven't seen it already. Add that to your watch list. But we drafted a few fun teams last night as well. We're talking player takes, getting Bindles takes on it. Normally, we're going to have the Ballsy show Monday nights, and then alternating weeks, I'm going to do either Tuesday or Thursday big board streams. On Wednesdays, I do my PGA best ball streams where I'm going to be drafting the Albatross, the Battle Royale, Underdog Open, weekly tournaments for PGA best ball and Underdog, talking one and dones, all of those things. And it's a lot of fun. So that's going to be a preview of the Farmers Insurance Open this week. It's on Wednesday nights. And then you never know what's going to happen on a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday. And I feel like jumping up in here and firing up the stream. So make sure you're subscribed for year-round fantasy and best ball content. And turn notifications on so you know when I'm going live. You don't miss it. All right. That's all I got for housekeeping. Let's get right into it. Let's hit the intro and talk about these free agents before we fire up a big board draft.
But overall, it's like the guy can ball. Like, actions speak louder than words.
Heyo, what's up, everybody? How we doing? Good to see you. Happy Monday. Hope your first drafts are going well. Hope your week's going well. Aren't freezing out there. We got Jeff in here. We got Hartman. My guys throwing up the Lambos. Garage yellow Lambo in the chat. Love to see it. Okay, so the first thing I want to get into before we get too ahead of ourselves, and we're going to be drafting some teams tonight, but let me go ahead and pull this down and zoom in just a little bit more. Yeah, that's probably good. That's probably enough. I can probably bring that back up. Boom. Okay. So I'm tracking the ADPs. I'm tracking the positional rank changes. One thing I wanted to point out, from day 0 to day 1, we saw Jeremiah Love jump from RB 11 to 10. He knocks down Derrick Henry. We see Ashton Genty jump from RB8 to RB7. He knocks down Saquon Barkley. Omarion Hampton is gaining some ground too. I think he could jump Saquon Barkley in a lot of the drafts that I'm seeing. Genty and Hampton go before Barkley. So that's something I noticed. Yo, what's up, Putt Daddy? Fanspeak Network. Shout out. How we doing, Meg? Good to see you. Good to see you. Um, let's talk about these free agents. So what I'm going to do is I've got on my screen over here the overthecap.com free agency tracker. And we'll start off with the QBs. So if we'll go ahead and filter this, boom, for quarterback. And then we're going to scroll down and quickly talk about QBs who are free agents and what's going to happen, what's going to change. So looking at my list here, we have Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, who I think are fantasy relevant, potentially. Of course, Malik Willis, people are talking about drafting him as if he's going to be a starter somewhere. The Dolphins, the Jets, who knows? Marcus Mariota, another name to watch. So as I scroll through them, that's kind of the first take. So let's go find Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is right now in the 180s, his ADP. So for his free agency status, I think we see Daniel Jones stay with the Colts. That's what I'm going to put down for him. He's coming off the injury, of course. So caveat there. Malik Willis is going right ahead of him in drafts. I think that's kind of interesting. And question mark where he's going to go. I'm going to go ahead and put free agent, but we think the Colts for Daniel Jones. Malik Willis, I guess because he's healthy. Daniel Jones, obviously coming off the Achilles, so not healthy. That makes a big difference. We scroll down even further. We get to guys like Aaron Rodgers. He's a free agent. We don't know where he's going to go. We're not sure. He's going to retire. What's going on? Tua is not technically a free agent, right? But he's a trade candidate. He's a candidate to change teams, not a free agent. So I'm going to put trade candidate down for him because there's another guy I think that could make sense for. It's Kyler Murray, who's up here around ADP 150 trade candidate. What else do we think? Marcus Mariota is a free agent. Let's go ahead and grab him. It's kind of harder to do this with the quarterbacks because a lot changes. Who's another trade candidate? I guess Fields is technically a trade candidate. Can change teams. Would we think that about Geno Smith? I see Geno Smith not getting drafted here. Is he going to back up Mendoza? I put him as a trade candidate. I think that kind of covers it. Anyone else that you guys want to shout out in the chat that we think could be a quarterback free agent, moving, signing somewhere, or a trade candidate that probably won't be on their team next year? I think that kind of covers it. All of the quarterbacks who are getting drafted highly, obviously they're not in ambiguous situations. So I think of like Kyler's the highest ranked guy right now. Malik Willis, Daniel Jones are definitely interesting. And then you have some older QBs down here, or guys like Tua, Justin Fields, Gino, who might be looking to start somewhere else. We got Putt Daddy. We got Paulino. What's up? Darth Carter. Steph. Hey, good to see you, Steph. How we doing? Jeff thinks that maybe Njoku goes to the Broncos. That's interesting. Maybe does Njoku have any ties to Stefanski? Would he go to Atlanta if they don't re-sign Pitts? That's kind of interesting. Mac Jones, a good trade candidate. Yeah, I have to scroll down a little bit for him. Or did I already pass him? There he is. Wow, he is getting drafted. It's the big board, so people get drafted. Mac Jones. I could say the same thing about Anthony Richardson, but who wants him? Unfortunately. Gino, yeah, trade cut. I'm treating trade and cut kind of interchangeably just to make it more consolidated on how I'm sorting it. But that totally makes sense. What's up, Two Mules? How we doing, brother? Yeah, we got Tua in there. What's up, Nick? Yeah, Kyler's an interesting one. Yeah, Justin Fields for sure. So we got Fields in here. I think we've got the QBs covered. And I'm not too worried about the QBs. That's kind of, we let that situation evolve. I don't know if there's a lot of edge to have by predicting the QBs so far ahead of it. The late round QBs, if you think they're going to get some starts, they're still going late enough where you can get them if you want them. So Let's switch over to a position that has a lot more implications regarding the free agents. And I don't know if we're going to know necessarily if we're going to know any trade candidates here in the running backs, but we've definitely got some free agents to talk through. And if we think they're going to be staying with their current teams or moving on. So I'm going to change I'm using overthecap.com / free agency tracker. And it's kind of just sorted by, I don't know how I'm going to sort this one to make it closer to the ADP. I mean, I'll just kind of eyeball it. The first free agents I see, it's Najee Harris, Austin Eckler. They go super far down the draft. ETN and Javonte are two big implications for where they end up going. I honestly think, so I think ETN, my take right now is that he stays on the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm going to put that for him. That's my first thought. Let me know if you think he's staying or going. I was talking on Twitter with some people about, does Tutin's value rise if ETN does go and not resign? And then not too much further past him, we got Javonte Williams, ADP 72. So, I mean, and ETN's going in the mid 30s. He could rise if he resigns. He had a nice end of the season, kind of had a slow start, but put up some good numbers towards the end of the season, I think. Javonte had the opposite, a good start, kind of a slower finish. And he's a free agent. I think he does stay in Dallas, though. They liked what they got out of him, I think. So maybe they hold that group together. Who knows? What this is, I want to explain this one thing here. The column here that shows 90%, that's 90th percentile snaps played across all QBs, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends in the league last year. Not accounting for injuries or anything like that. Just what percentile of snaps did you play? So he didn't play 90% of the snaps. He's in the 90th percentile for snaps played. So he's playing like, I don't know, 900 plus snaps at that rate. The guys who played the most snaps were like 1,100. So he's probably like close to 1,000 snaps. This number here is the ADP change, and it's just the percent change from the rankings to the first ADP opening today that I got in there. So that's what we're seeing. Javonte rose a spot. He kicked Jalen Warren back a spot. And then we see some movement here. Brees rising. Kenneth Walker rising. ETN fell 2 spots. Maybe that's because of the whole free agent situation, but people just believe in Brees and Ken Walker a little bit more than ETN. We knew that last year going into the season. Henderson jumps a spot. I think Harvey is super interesting going into year 2. He scored, 12 total touchdowns? And we know he's a touchdown merchant coming out of UCF. So, we got to look on our free agency tracker. Dobbins is a free agent. Does this really impact Harvey going forward? Can Harvey go from a guy that had 100 and something touches to a guy that gets like 300 touches? That'd be insane. Yeah, preferring Tutin right now, says Jeff. Marcus Mariota has gotten some bridge QB buzz. Yeah, not really anything crazy. He's more of like a super flex best ball pick, I'm thinking at this point. And then if Dallas keeps Javonte and drafts another running back, yeah, they might just need some depth. So I think Javonte, with this running back class, I don't think it's that great that Javonte would get unseated. And I want to kind of play it like that until I learn differently. And they might not, I think they will draft a running back at some point, but how much draft capital are they really going to spend on running back? I don't know. They might sign a free agent for all that we know. And besides Javonte, they might get another guy. Who else do we see? Dowdle is a name on the list. Obviously, Brees Hall. I skipped right past Brees Hall. Brees Hall's a free agent. He might be the most intriguing one. We don't know where he's going to go. Ken Walker. I jumped right past him too. You guys got to keep me on my toes, but I think he goes back to Seattle. He's going to the Super Bowl with this team. Charbonnet's out for the foreseeable future. So let's keep him there. I'm going to scroll down on this list and see until we get to like a Dowdle range, Dobbins range. I know Eckler and Najee Harris are going super late. So Dowdle's here. I have no idea where Dowdle's going to go, but he just had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, all-purpose yards, over 1,000 yards, and he was impressive for a few games there with the Carolina Panthers. So I think he's kind of a nice piece still. That just means that Hubbard, we probably got to value Hubbard a little bit more. He was very expensive last year. I was kind of fading Hubbard last year. and drafted a ton of Dowdle. Not that I knew anything better. I was just going for the cheaper piece in the backfield, and I always thought Dowdle had something to his game. So we'll see how that goes. David Montgomery. I don't see his name on the free agency tracker. I'm scrolling through. I thought David Montgomery was a free agent. Am I crazy? Do I just not see him? I'm looking right past it. Let me know. I don't see him as a free agent right now. Maybe they re-signed him to a 2-year contract. Maybe I'm remembering that. Algier and Kenny Gainwell. So Algier, I see him as a free agent. You have to scroll down a bit. Yeah, UFA. Free agent, no idea where he's going to go. Same thing for Gainwell. Kenny Gainwell, incredible 2025 in best ball. Completely undrafted most of the time and popped off for tons of meaningful games. Jerome Ford's going to be pretty far down the board, but he's a free agent. Nick Chubb. Who else we got? Dobbins is one to watch. I don't know if they re-sign him. I don't think they will. I don't know that they need him. Rachaad White's a free agent. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one to watch. He could make an impact somewhere. He's a guy who's played a decent amount over the last couple of years since he's a rookie, up and down, all that kind of stuff. But when he's been effective enough when they need him, when they call his number. Bucky Irving, I think, might get a slight bump if they don't re-sign Rachaad White. How you guys feel about that one? Take Dobbins at cost right now? I don't know. I was pretty out on Dobbins I was in on Dobbins at ADP 180 last summer. When he rose up the board, I stopped drafting him, and then he had no ceiling last year. He did nothing. He didn't have any big games, no 20-point games, no blow-up games. So I'm pretty out on Dobbins as it is. Yeah, Hartman says it's the Jaden Blue time now. Those Louis Vuitton cleats are definitely broken in at this rate. Dowdle wants to be a starter somewhere. Yeah, maybe he goes to like the Jets or something. Yeah, Monty did. Okay, Monty's there for the next 2 years. I do remember seeing that now. I was like, I have Monty in a dynasty league, so I've been kind of tracking him, but I couldn't remember exactly. But that makes sense. Anyone else we want to call out? Brian Robinson Jr. is a free agent. That's potentially interesting. I mean, more than none. Sean Tucker. Kimani Vidal is a free agent. So let's go to Vidal. That's actually an interesting one. He did somewhat decently when they needed to use him, but is that a function of being on the Chargers and they're a good team, or is that a function of him actually being good? I think it's more about the Chargers than him. Kind of reading into that one. Okay, I don't think we skipped anyone. I think we covered all the running backs until now. We go down here. It's guys like Brian Robinson. I don't have his snaps in here because I didn't delete Junior out of his name on the other sheet. So there's always some cleanup to be done. Najee Harris, a free agent. No idea where he goes. Who else we got? For guys that matter, I think we're kind of at our limit. Nick Chubb, but does it even matter? And like I said, Eckler. Will Eckler be getting drafted? I drafted too much Eckler last year to beat. I drafted more than enough Eckler. McLaughlin, I don't think matters. Keaton Mitchell. Let's throw him in there. Is he getting drafted? I have to look at all these Cardinals guys too. I don't see Keaton Mitchell in here. I'm sure he's a little higher. Everyone's a sicko. Everyone's drafting the missile. So Keaton, missile, we got him in there. I'm looking at all of the other free. Isaiah Pacheco. Does he even matter? Hard to say. DeMercado. Do we like DeMercado these days? With the limited action we saw out of him last year? Looks like no one's drafted him. There he is, way down here. Next to Dameon Pierce, also a free agent, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure he is. If he's not, no one will remember or care. Kareem Hunt. Okay, that's one. I think Jerome Ford, if we can find him, and then Kareem Hunt, like the last two worth calling out. So if I can find Kareem Hunt, there he is. Boom. And then Jerome Ford's going to be Brown. So I'm kind of looking for Brown. I'm kind of looking for the name Ford. I thought I saw people drafting him a little bit. Maybe I'm thinking of Dylan Sampson, actually. Yeah, it looks like the Ford days are over. I drafted way too much Ford last year. I was in on the narrative that we wouldn't see too much Quinshon Judkins. All right, so that's the running backs. I think that kind of covers it. What else do you guys see? Yo, what's up? Who Hames, my man? Killing it. Great stream earlier. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for the shout out as always. Tried to warn me about Blue. 2 mules. That's the thing. We're trying to get better. We're trying to learn. This year, we're going to do better. But you were right. Najee Harris is going to go to the Pittsburgh Pirates as their mascot. That's probably true. Gotcha. With the Monty. Yeah, maybe he's a trade candidate. That's interesting. Pacheco and Hunt, good call. Because we know the Chiefs are looking for a running back in the draft potentially. They're one of the top, probably the best landing spot for a running back going into next season. Yeah, Gainwell to KC would be sick. He'd be going in like... Okay, if Gainwell goes to KC, I'm okay drafting him in the top 60 picks. Not even lying. I'm already pretty stoked on Gainwell. The wide receivers, let's see if we can knock out a few of the high-value wide receivers and then jump into a draft. We might have to just take a break from our free agency tracking because it's a lot to take to track. But are there some easy ones? Evans, Deebo Samuel, Jawan Jennings. It's not, and Wandale. It's not a great free agency class at wide receiver. The running backs, I think there's a little bit more available. That's kind of how I'm going to play it. I think, obviously Christian Kirk too, Hollywood Brown. Shaheed is a big name. Shaheed's probably one of the bigger names. So let's do Deebo and Evans. Can I find Mike Evans? Mike Evans. Oops. I think they re-signed Mike Evans, but I don't know. I'm just going to put a question mark now. Deebo goes after him. So let's scroll down for Deebo. He doesn't go this late. I can't see him. Deebo Samuel. There's Pearsall. We're still in the 80s. Okay. He goes later. Deebo's going a little bit too late, I think. Who else did we say was up there? Kirk is later. Hollywood's later. Jawan Jennings. There, he's right here next to him. Shaheed, I think, is a top free agent in this free agent class. Christian Kirk, I don't have any idea so far where these guys are going to land, so I'm just kind of leaving it ambiguous for now. Hollywood Brown, I know he's further down. There he is. Boom. I think that covers it. Is there anyone else that's actually an impactful free agent wide receiver we care about? We needed to note Wandale. That was the last one that I care about, I think. And I guess he goes somewhere new. We'll have to see. I think that about covers it. If there's any other guys that you guys are thinking. Oh, Alec Pierce, of course. How did I not see him on the Spotrac free agency tracker? I don't see him on there at all. Yeah, I do. Alec Pierce. He just isn't. I guess he's not. I have it sorted by whatever their natural sorting is. So good shout there. Of course, Alec Pierce, my most drafted player in best ball last year, my most drafted wide receiver. And I'm not drafting him much at all this year so far. I got Shaheed. Is Romeo Dobbs a free agent? I thought I had seen that and heard that. Let me do a control F for Dobbs over here on the SPO track. Yeah, Romeo Dobbs. Okay, that's a good shout. Let's scroll down. Packers, Matthew Golden, Romeo Dobbs. Boom. That makes sense. And then do we think Tyreek is a trade candidate? I think sure. Adonai Mitchell, isn't he a free agent or am I crazy? I'm gonna search him and then we'll be done. No, he's not. I guess he's not. I guess he's still on the rookie deal. We got Jawan Jennings, Christian Kirk, Dobbs. OTC, good for it too. Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm using, overthecap.com/free agency. I think it's pretty good. I just like to see it visually there. George Pickens, holy shit. You guys are sleeping on this. You got me with Alec Pierce. You didn't get George Pickens, guys. But we think he stays. So I'm going to put Cowboys. We think he stays. I think we just lean into he stays until we hear otherwise. I'm going to sort it by current APY. That's probably what I should have been doing the whole time. But even then, George Pickens doesn't pop. He's still kind of buried. Weird. All right, let's jump into a draft. We've got the free agents like fresh in our mind. We can draft now. Kind of doing that exercise just helps me. When I see all these names now, I'm gonna like flashback, remember exactly what's going on. So let's get right into it. Boom, waiting on 7, and then I'm gonna move the big board over here to my other monitor. Oh, sorry. To this so that I can reference it if I have to in the middle of a draft quickly. If there's something I want to see. There we go. That's good for me. What's up, fellas? How we doing? Happy Monday night. How are your drafts going? What are your hot takes? Yeah, what's up, Nick? Yeah, Two Mules says, early hot take. Hampton has pedestrian talent at best and will be worst ADP value in first 5 rounds. He will have a occasional high ceiling game, but most will be under 10 PPR points. You know, I'm kind of leaning the other direction because when I look at his limited sample size from last year, I think he's clearly a top 15 running back, and even you could argue a top kind of borderline top 12 running back. I think you're right about his potentially low floor. He only averaged about 13 fantasy points per game in half PPR. His ceiling was 25 games last season. We only saw him in 9 games. In those 9 games, he was worse than 10 points per game in a third of them. So 3 out of those 9. But in 2 out of those 9, he put up over 20 points. He's not great fantasy points per touch. I think what we saw with Vidal, though, Vidal was pretty effective too and had a 20-point game. Actually had 2 20-point games, Vidal did. Vidal's pretty pedestrian. So if you can consolidate Vidal's production and Hampton's production into one running back, you essentially have a top 15, maybe borderline top 12 running back. I think the environment's good. If the Chargers offensive line gets healthier, it's just a good environment to be a part of. So that's kind of what I'm going to bet on, is just, even if Hampton's not as great as we thought he could have been, he's in a good environment on a good team. But I think, the worst pick in the first 5 rounds, that's pretty bold. That's a good hot take. So I like it. You're thinking bold. But I'm just, some counterpoints there. Some counterpoints. It's a good environment. The Chargers, think of the last time the Chargers didn't have a fantasy relevant running back. They've had some fantasy relevant guys. Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, going back even further, Ryan Matthews, like going just back. The Chargers, to me, are always a team that has a fantasy capable running back. I know we've gone through a few quarterbacks, a few coaches since all of that, but there's something about the lightning bolts. They just make you run a little bit faster, I guess. All right, we're off and running. We see Jamar Chase go to Nick Bach in the 2 spot. What up, Nick? We also got Super Shorty in the 6. What's up, Steph? We got P Punch in the 7. I'm in the 8. Things are going well. JSN is a fun first round pick, I will admit. I think he looks like a fun pick. He's going to be paired with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, what they said, threw for his most passing yards all season in this last game against the Rams. I was kind of surprised by that. He still eclipses 4,000 passing yards in back-to-back seasons, so he's a guy. I will go CeeDee Lamb here. I consider going James Cook. I want to get some James Cook, but I'm not going to pass up on CeeDee Lamb. I don't think I'll do that. I think I got to take CeeDee Lamb there. Vidal at 150 a bargain. I don't know because Vidal's rookie year, we didn't see much out of him. It was like, is he good because of his circumstance being the feature back in that offense last year when Hampton was down for a while, or has he actually got some juice? I'm gonna wait and see the landing spot on Vidal before I get too excited. Oh, we got some Vidal lovers. We got some Vidal love, some love for Vidal in the chat. Okay. I gotta watch what I'm saying. Kirk Cousins returned to Minnesota. That would be a hot take. That's interesting. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I didn't get Scotty Scheffler in this one, Jeff. This team is dead. No doubt. Jeff, what do you think about Brooks Koepka this week? I mean, he kind of has a great history at the Farmers or at Torrey Pines. There was I want to say it was a U.S. Open back in 2021 or two. I think it was 2021. It was 2021, Torrey Pines U.S. Open, and Koepka got a T4 there. So I think he's got some good course history. He's starting his back on the tour. People are sleeping on Koepka. Okay, Hampton goes here. We see Love and Genty. I'm on the clock. As I was describing earlier, Genty, Love, Hampton, they're all going ahead of Saquon, Malik Neighbors, Trey Brown. I don't like to be in this spot. I really don't like this spot. I think this is exactly where I do take Trey McBride, though. I'm not going to have so much Trey McBride, but at pick 17, 4 picks past ADP, and I already have a top wide receiver. I think this is the kind of build where I do want to have him. And now I'm going to go for like a 0 RB or a hero RB build. Let's just see who I can get at pick 32 if it makes sense. I've got a short list of tier 1, 2, and 3 running backs, and they all go kind of early. So if my tier 3 running back is gone before pick 32, I'm going to go for like a true 0 RB build here. If not, I might get him. And then even at pick 41, there's a slim chance that another one in that end of the tier 3 is there for me, and I could double down on running backs. But I like the wide receivers that go around pick 41 also. So you won't see me take a whole lot of Trey McBride. I think this is the place I do it. I'm going to take him ahead of Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, and then I'm going to take him ahead of Neighbors. I'm fading the Neighbors injury situation. I want to see more out of Jackson Dart. I think we're excited about Jackson Dart for fantasy, but is he actually a good passer? I don't know. And what's the chemistry like with Neighbors? I think he's fine. I'm not going to be too critical of Jackson Dart. He's very expensive going into 2026 for best ball. This is the spot where I'll go with McBride. I was telling Bindles last night, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to have a whole lot of McBride. Changing QB situation. But I mean, Ryan Heath put out some from Fantasy Points put out some data, and McBride was the most targeted player in the NFL last season when their team is down by more than 2 scores. I think it's a fourth quarter stat. He had like the most by far targets. And actually, Michael Wilson was high on that list too. So the Cardinals are a team, when they were behind, and they were behind a lot at the end of last season, they just come out completely, slinging the rock, right? And we know this. We saw all the stats week to week with Jacoby Brissett and number of dropbacks that he had in the 50s, 50 passing attempts a game, all these numbers. So, okay, Ken Walker's been rising. We see Ken Walker go pick 26 here. He's hot. He's hot right now, that Ken Walker. Pickens at 29, I think is very reasonable. Olave at 28 is a nice grab there. Josh Jacobs is the one where it's like, I don't know where I want to take Josh Jacobs yet. There is a player that I'm very excited about that he's here, and it's Bucky Irving. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Bucky. For me, he's my favorite player to get in this range, and I'm glad he came back. I might be able to we'll see, because a lot of running backs went early to you guys in the back end of the board. We'll see what comes back around in the 4th round for me if I want to grab another running back or if there's so many good wide receivers there. So I'm in a great spot right now. I'm liking this team. Yeah, Boom or Steph going with JT and Barkley. No, she's just feeling very high T tonight. I like the T Higgins pick to go there. T Higgins is the guy we always take in the 3rd round. Joe Burrow back full strength. I think T will pay off. Boomer Steph. You guys are on it. Yeah. Okay, so we're pretty confident Brissett's going to be the starter next year. That's something I need to consider in this draft. I've got 3 stacking partners so far. I can do Dak Prescott. I can do Brissett if that's what we believe in. If that's you guys tell me, I need more opinions. Do we think Brissett stays and is the QB? Is that the way they're playing it? I don't know. That I need to go check Discord and go to the Coach Speak Index, and let me do that right now. I'm going to pop over there. I'm going to the Arizona Cardinals before my next pick. I'm scrolling down, and then they're talking about Kyler. Brissett is under contract. Slovis is under contract. Okay, Kyler's under contract, so I'm on the clock. There's a lot going on there. Kyren Williams is here. It's my lucky day. I will take Kyren Williams. Boom. With my 4th round pick. I'm taking Kyren in the 3rd round even sometimes. I mean, the guy continues to produce. We saw a little bit more of a split backfield in the second half of the season with Corum. I still want Kyren. The guy's putting up 1,300 all-purpose yards back-to-back years, double-digit touchdowns in one of the best offenses. So give me Kyren in the 4th. I'm cool with it. I'm going for teams with the environments that I like, or just stud players. Lamb, stud player, Dax, top target. You could argue Pickens, McBride. We've already talked about Bucky Irving. We needed him to get healthy. Rashad White, potentially a free agent, and Sean Tucker, a free agent. We learned tonight. I kind of remembered that. Kyren Williams, let's get him. Harvey. So I would, Harvey. If Kyren wasn't there, I think I could have reached up and grabbed RJ Harvey and not felt too bad about it. And I think the 4th round is a decent spot for Harvey. I would have Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams are the 2 guys that I was really considering here also. Garrett Wilson goes right for my pick. So, okay. I mean, we're getting some coach speak on the GM, Monty Osenfort of the Arizona Cardinals. He's non-committal, but Kyler's under contract, Jacoby Brissett's under contract, and then he throws in Kendon Slovis is under contract. So anything could happen. I don't know. If I can get Brissett super cheap, what's Brissett's ADP right now? Let's look it up here. Jacoby Brisket, pick 200. So that is very late. I'm open to taking him as a QB3 around pick 200 in the 17th round. I'm very cool with that. So if I can grab him there, that'd be pretty sweet. Honestly, makes me want to prioritize the Cardinals a little bit more and just lean into that. Michael Wilson, I'm going to have to highlight him. He goes pretty dang early, but if you didn't already hear last season, Michael Wilson is actually Jerry Rice Jr. in disguise. So ADP 69. I'd have to grab him here, which is a little bit early, but I will need a wide receiver at that point. And I'm looking at wide receivers right now anyways. I'm on the clock. I could do Egbuka or Adunze or Sutton. I like all these guys. I'm going to throw in Egbuka because maybe Mike Evans doesn't stay with them. I like what we saw at Egbuka last year. I've already got a bet on the Buccaneers with Bucky. So let's just double down there. And now it's between Michael Wilson, stud, Rome Odunze. He had a good stretch at the beginning of the season, but man, I would have liked to seen a little bit more, especially the way that the Bears offense was going. He's not their like top priority key piece. Guys I like Quinshon just fine, Ramondre, Javonte. I don't like Monaguy's price at all, really. Alec Pierce's price is really rich for me. What do you guys think? Always like Sean Tucker. Yeah, I was skeptical of Sean Tucker coming out of Syracuse with Then he had like I thought he looked okay. He was definitely kind of fast and intriguing, a breakaway runner. He had the heart condition thing. He goes undrafted, and then he's had 2 30-point games, just one per season over the last 2 years. So it's kind of interesting. But his rookie year, he didn't do too much. It was his sophomore and third year. Kelsey incoming. Yeah, Kelsey's a free agent. I didn't throw that on the tracker. We'll get to tight ends later, I guess. Kamara. Aaron Jones queued up there. Okay, I am going to go Michael Wilson. Boom. Super expensive Michael Wilson, but I think he makes sense on this team where I've got Trey McBride and Michael Wilson. Now I can hopefully lock up Brissett much later. Courtland Sutton, obviously, we think he's good, and he's the top guy in Denver. Javonte is probably a nice pick there. But I've got my kind of 2 running backs I think I need. It's more important for me to get my at least 3rd wide receiver through kind of 6 rounds the way I've started off. So that's what made me go with the decision for Michael Wilson. And, all things aside, not worrying too much about his name, Michael Wilson, and what we thought of him previously. What I saw last year from him and the way he was using that offense, with Jacoby Brissett especially, I'm interested in the 6th round. He's still kind of early in his career. That was like was that a 4th year breakout? Was that a 4th year breakout for Michael Wilson? I want to say that was his 3rd year. Yeah, it was his 3rd year. So a true 3rd year breakout. You love to see it. Why not take a shot on him continuing that trajectory over a guy like Sutton or Evans, who Sutton has been, very consistent and good. Evans dealt with some injuries, but they're kind of, and even Diggs, kind of on the back 9, maybe even the last couple years they're going to be in the NFL. Who knows? But feels like it. Brian Thomas is a guy that I think honestly should be going higher. Waddle, if Waddle was there, smash click Waddle. I need to move him up because I almost didn't see him. Pick 80 here. Michael Wilson better than MHJ could be. What's up? What's up, Krios? How we doing, brother? But didn't we see that garbage time Ponzi scheme fail? 24%, New England 10 year before firing with the 200s. Yeah. I mean, Brissett is a guy. Okay, Dart is there. Tootin range? Are we in the Tootin range? I need a wide receiver. I might go QJ. We're close to the Tootin range. I went Quentin Johnston. I feel okay about it. My team is a 2-4-1. I got CeeDee Lamb, Trey McBride, Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams, Emeka Egbuka for my 2nd Buccaneer, Michael Wilson, my 2nd Cardinal. Just took Quentin Johnston, pick 80. So I've got some nice receivers now, some nice depth at least. Time to start looking at the QB position. And I'm at pick 89. This is where I probably fire off on Dak Prescott. Let me look at the Pickens drafter. The Pickens drafter over here has Lamar Jackson, but they also have Javonte. So I think I do want to get Dak before it's too late. I'd hate to skip on him in this range. I think it makes a lot of sense for my team. I don't like any of these running backs here. Tootin's already gone. I'm not crazy enough about these running backs, I'll say. If anything, I like the guys a little bit later. I don't need a tight end, obviously, because I went elite tight end. DJ Moore is a nice pick here. I want to say he's totally fine. He's not as exciting as he once was, but he's as exciting as he'll ever be. Wandale's a free agent, probably even less interesting. Worthy and Reed and Addison are guys I always regret not getting. I'm going to take Dak here and then see what happens afterwards. I think round 8 Dak is just acceptable. Herbert was already gone. He goes super early. He went in the 5th round. I've had trouble landing Dak after pick 90. I think we probably would have seen the drafter in the 5 spot who has Javonte and Pickens. If he had 2 bites of the apple to get Dak at 92 or 101, he probably would have done it. So for me to take CeeDee Lamb over James Cook, Achane, Amon-Ra St. Brown in the first round like I did, I got to back that up by doubling down and getting myself Dak Prescott. So now we're going for maybe Dak Prescott and the CeeDee Lamb combination is just the stack you need, or they have a really, really good regular season and Dak's going for like an MVP run, and in which case, he helps get me there, and I still need to find a QB like a Brissett later, or even maybe still even Baker later that that are the guys I need in the playoff weeks. Two Mules likes Parker Washington. I'm not all there on Parker Washington yet. I've liked him. I'm a dynasty owner of Parker Washington, so I've seen the ups and downs. To me, it's interesting how that's gonna he's the lesser expensive piece between Brian Thomas and of course Travis Hunter's there in some regards, but really Jacoby Myers more than anything. So I guess actually Jacoby Myers went after Parker Washington in this one. I would rather take Brian Thomas earlier, or I guess Jacoby Myers later. If Parker Washington falls, I think that's where I'm going to want him. Pick 104. I'm still thinking I want some wide receivers. Boutte is interesting. He's not a free agent. I'm going to double check that though. I'm almost certain I've got him in Dynasty as well too. Yeah, Boutte is not a free agent. He's kind of come on for them a little bit. Luckily, I can get Addison. Let's hope he stays out of the legal trouble. Nix is there. Do I want Bo Nix? Probably not. I'm tempted. I think I'm going to go Addison. Even though the whole quarterback situation is really, really bad, I just bet on talent, get a guy like Addison. I've always been in on him. If Bo Nix comes back around, I'll grab him. Otherwise, I think Boutte is a decent pick. It's getting pretty thin. Even Love to me in this range is kind of like not a bad pick. Monagai a stud. I'm pretty out on Monagai. I'm pretty in on DeAndre Swift. I think DeAndre Swift is the stud. I think what we saw from Monagai was just pretty. It's not like he had that many touches. He had 180 touches, though. He had a lot more touches than guys like Tootin. I didn't see too much out of Monagai. One good 20-point game, but for the sample size that we have on Monagai, I feel like he's probably should be like a top 35 option around there, kind of backed by like Tyrone Tracy. I think it goes really expensive in these drafts. I think DeAndre Swift should be like a top 10 option. And I'm crazy for saying it, but the production he's had. Bo Nix is there. I've got to go with it. Yeah, I'm not interested in Monagai, even at pick 113. His ADP is 90. I don't think he's that good. I'll get Bo Nix for sure. I wonder how far we'll see a guy like Monagai fall. He did. He had a good game. The Bears have a very good offensive line. It's a good situation, a good team, a good environment. I just think he's clearly the RB2, and that's still like a price where is Woody Marks the RB1? Is Gainwell going to be someone's RB1? Tracy, I think I'd probably take Tracy over Monagai. Tracy's going to be the RB1 for a little bit if Scadaboo's, banged up going into the season. Rashad White could be someone's RB1. I've seen Benson moving up a little bit. I don't really believe that much in Benson. Chuba Hubbard's an RB1. He's still on the team, and Dowdle's a free agent. They could of course, they could re-sign him, but Dowdle's going even later. He went earlier in this one, but he had been going later. Okay, that's fair. Chuba Hubbard goes to Nick Bach. And there's some late stacking options for Bo Nix too, so I'm not like that worried about having to stack it. Baker Mayfield does get drafted here a little bit before ADP, but probably the right spot to take him in round 10 anyways. It reminds you of Ray Rice. I liked Ray Rice until we all didn't like him, but I remember back in the days when we were drafting Ray Rice in the first round in fantasy football. Yo, Byron, what's up, brother? Yes, but don't forget he's out. So Charbonnet with the season-ending injury, do they even have it updated here? Placed on IR with his knee injury, right? It was an ACL. So don't forget. Okay. 2251. I need some running back, and I'm going with my guy, Sir Kenneth Gainwell, who I think is in the right landing spot, a top 20 running back in the NFL in 2026. If he gets the right number of starts, we saw him with a huge sample size, 174 touches last season. He almost averaged a fantasy point per touch. He had multiple games with more than 20 points. He had a 28 point game. He had 3 touchdown game. Was it 3 or 2? I think it was 3. Maybe it was 2, but he had 7 total touchdowns and he looked good. So coolers. Yeah, blown his ACL. He's out of there. So 2-3-5-1 build. I need more running backs, and I want to take cheap ones. So I think this is the range to do it, unless I find a wide receiver that I really like. Oh, Shaheed. Okay, Shaheed comes back around. That would have been nice. Monagai runs like Pacheco. That's the Rutgers lineage, right? That's the common thread. Yes. Yeah, I went back and I edited that out of the video, but Coolers was there. Jeff was there. Epic. Man, it was life-changing stuff. I feel bad for y'all that you don't get to hear all of that because I'll never be able to recreate it, and it was really life-changing stuff. So it's just too bad that you guys missed out on that. In this range, I'm gonna wait on guys like Tracy to come back around. I already said that I'm probably gonna get Brissett super late. Let me go Jerry Jeudy here. I'm gonna be drafting Jerry Jeudy at pick 137. He's not that good in real life, but he's on the field a ton. Maybe their quarterback situation changes in Cleveland. Maybe Malik Willis, doesn't even matter. The thing about Jerry Jeudy that stands out to me, and I said this to Bindles last night in the Ballsy stream, he played 90th percentile amount of snaps. Like, he was always on the field. He's playing a ton. He's playing so much. I have to scroll down and find him in my list. Where is he? Let me show you all the board while we wait. I'm just trying to find Jerry Jeudy to prove my point. And I think this is a pretty cheap spot to get him. Oh, Casey Concepcion goes at pick 139. Would have loved to have gotten him pretty soon coming up. Who else did we see? Rookies go off the board. Coleman, Price, Johnson, Sadiq. These are all fair prices. I was looking for Jerry Jeudy. He played 95th percentile amount of snaps in the NFL. There are like a dozen guys who played more snaps than Jerry Jeudy last year. That accounts for something. You just want guys who are on the field. There's opportunity, there's game environment, there's team environment. But if you're not on the field, you can't catch the touchdown. So all of these guys going around him, like a lot of the guys going around him were playing far less snaps. Like Jaden Higgins, and maybe he takes a step forward in year 2. Now Christian Kirk is gone. Jaden Higgins, though, and rookie, it's different when you're a rookie. But for a point of reference, I'll show you Jaden Higgins once I find him. He was 82nd percentile in his amount of snaps played. So Jerry Jeudy's like a whole like standard deviation above that, like a huge amount. Just like Boomer this boys. Yeah, what's up, Tyler? How we doing, emo? And Steph goes with Concepcion, the anti-boomer pick. I love it. Steph's over there, and she's in over there in the Dallas area. She's a Texan as well, so she's well aware of these Aggies, things going on in college football. So she's not sleeping. She's well aware on Casey Concepcion. Does Tank Dell, does he become interesting? Tyrone Tracy to me, just what I need on this team. And I'm feeling good at running back. I'm feeling very good at wide receiver. Time to look for maybe a second tight end pretty soon. And then I'm going to think through like what other QB stacks could I do with the players that I have. Nothing sticks out. Obviously, I could do Shador, pretty weak stack there. McCarthy, also a pretty weak stack. I think I do want to take Brissett super late. And if not, I have some backup plans. But I'm gonna hope that I can bank on getting Shador. And if not, I've got some backup plans. I like Mendoza. It's probably not the right team for him here for me. Tight end wise, Schultz, why not? Barner's not so interesting. He kind of had, am I chasing last season? I guess he had some good end zone targets. Juwan Johnson, we all know. Theo Johnson. These are guys that I'm starting to look to in this range. Terrence Ferguson, I think, becomes more interesting. We didn't see a whole lot in year one, but the year two jump could be something. So this is kind of a tight end range. I don't really care about a lot of these wide receivers. I like Chimere DK. I like Trey Tucker. I'm going to push them because I seem to be able to get them much later. I'm going to go ahead and take Dalton Schultz here. Just a safe pick. If anything crazy happens and CJ Stroud falls really far, I could grab him. Malik Willis, Daniel Jones could fit on any team. McCarthy, but Brissett's the guy I think I want. Kind of keep that a little bit ahead. None of these tight end threes are going to make or break my team. So I probably do just want to prioritize the other players I have that I need for this build. Rashad White, a free agent. And also, I think just a good pick. Go back to the board. I feel like I've been showing the queue a lot more than the board. Let's just recap a little bit about what's going on here. Elijah Surratt goes pick 134. I think that's a little too early. Bell, maybe a bit early as well. Mendoza's a nice pick. I like to see that. Of course, Steph with Higgins. And I wasn't just picking on Higgins because Steph drafted him earlier. But with Higgins there, I think it's a solid connection for Stroud. Christian Kirk gone. Bryce Young to go with your Coker. Of course, Carnell Tate. I do like Carnell Tate. It's an expensive, price to pay, but I think it very justifiable. Going ahead of Egbuka is kind of interesting because there's some landing spot dependency, and then Egbuka has 1 year under his belt. They're kind of similar players, both from Ohio State, similar program, some overlap in their playing time. Okay, White does go to Nick Bach. I think that's pretty savvy. So does Juwan Johnson. The quarterbacks are starting to go. I don't feel really threatened to take Brissett. The guy who took Marvin Harrison's way over here. He's got Hurts. He's got Goff. I feel like he probably doesn't care too much about Brissett. And if he passes on him, I'll be able to take Brissett around pick 200, which makes sense to me. I don't care too much about tight ends right now. I'd rather get a guy like Trey Tucker or Chimere DK. And I probably want Trey Tucker. I'm going to draft so much Trey Tucker this year at this rate, at this price. He is cheap, and Mendoza is a quarterback upgrade. Trey Tucker plays a lot. Scroll down my list of wide receivers, and I will annoy y'all with more snaps played data, because it's one of the things I brought in lately that I'm really digging into and trying to help me separate out these picks early on. But a guy like Trey Tucker was 96th percentile snaps played. He played more snaps than almost anyone not named Jerry Jeudy. I mean, even think about this. Think about this. Trey McBride, over under 95th percentile snaps played. What would you say? He's over. He's 98th percentile snaps played. So, I mean, Trey McBride's always on the field, never comes off. JSN, 90th percentile. He's a little bit lower. Jamar Chase, 97th percentile. So there's just some guys who never come off the field. Puka Nacua, 86th percentile, but he always deals with injuries. I think that's more about the injuries than him coming off the field when he's healthy. Taking notes, says Nez. Hey, what's up, brother? How we doing? Yeah, what up? T-Bucks, good to see you again, my man. Emo, of course. Hello again. Okay, let's see what Steph did here. Steph is went with the Barner. Okay, Dell to me. Brissett still available. DK, I don't really need him. I might go Terrace Ferguson. I kind of need a running back. I could do someone like Sampson. Boom. Let me get Dylan Sampson. Probably should have taken Emmanuel Wilson. Yes, no. Nick Singleton is who I should have taken. I didn't want to say it, but I immediately queued it and then regretted it. I don't know why I didn't scroll down and just see him. I was taking Singleton last night around pick 150 or 160 on certain teams. I go with Dylan Sampson here. I was thinking, the Browns connection, I guess. If I go through my data, Dylan Sampson, not really. I mean, he only had like 86 touches last year. Had like one good, decent game with 15 points. I don't know. He's fine. We liked him going into last year. He's a little bit cheaper this year. Stick with it. Maybe we see something more out of him. Could have made a better pick. I think Singleton was the better pick there, the clearly better pick. Of course, Steph's there to snatch him up. I think you guys would have taken him anyways, though. Can I thread the needle on Brissett, or am I going to go with my backup plan? There's not too many running backs I love this late in the draft, so I do like to get a few guys before. But when I took Bucky and Kyron with my first two picks, I got Gainwell and Tracy. I felt good with my top four guys that I can kind of push running back and get them late, much later. So this is where I'm just going to take some swings on guys like year two Dylan Sampson. Why not? Yeah, bullying Steph into taking the Youngs. Love to see it. Okay, Brissett's back, and I like this QB room. Are there any Broncos? That's the one thing I haven't really looked into yet, and I kept forgetting to pull up. I know Marvin Mims goes late. Evan Ingram, is he actually a free agent? I'm gonna go look on over the cap right now. Go to the tight ends and Control F for Ingram. I'm pretty sure he is. No, he's not. Evan Ingram's not a free agent. Okay. He just sucks. That's the only problem. He didn't used to suck. I mean, he always sucked at getting touchdowns, but there was a year he had 114 receptions, which is pretty absurd. 2023. He was a Jacksonville Jaguar that year, wasn't he? This team is a 3-5-7-2. Dak Prescott, Bo Nix, Jacoby Brissett. I got a stack with CD Lamb with Dak. Bo Nix is naked right now. Watch out. Jacoby Brissett, double stacked. Are there any other Cowboys that I want? I forgot to look up these guys too. Should I take Blue? The redemption tour of Blue? Maybe I shouldn't. Flournoy had made some noise for a couple games. He's kind of interesting. 18, 19, 20. Running back wise, I'll let that hit on Mims. I got Mims in their 20th round recently, but I'm going to throw him on this team to stack up with Bo Nix and then be done at wide receiver with those 8. I'll go with a tight end and a running back to finish this thing out. Rashad White to the Commanders. That's a pretty good spot for him, I think. That'd be a pretty nice spot. If they get Cam Ward some help, knowing that Calvin Ridley absolutely didn't help him at all, I think this is an interesting year 2 leap that he could have. Cam Ward. You guys know I like Manny Wilson. Pacheco is a free agent. Do we believe in him at all? Najee. I mean, the kind of the bad run out with Najee, I'm not psyched about. This is ugly for running back. Jaleel McLaughlin's a free agent. That's probably worse. Trevor Etienne. Audric Estime. Guys, help me out. Oh, Hemby. Do I just take a swing on Roman Hemby from Indiana? Help me out with these last picks for running back. What should I do here? Let me show you all the board. 2 picks left, 19th round. Trey Harris. I almost thought that was Najee Harris for a second. Missile goes to Steph. Trigg, tight end. Tonjes goes to Nick Bach. He's a free agent. Devin Neal does get drafted. That makes me feel better about taking Devin Neal last night with our 20th round pick. Yeah, what's up? I am the KY. The likely hype? I'm not sure. Yeah, Steph, you got a nice grab on Singleton there. Well done. Likely is the UFA. That's right. Ingram seems pretty washed, right? Ingram does seem pretty washed, but do I go him or Fryermuth or Chigakonkwo? Jamari Taylor. That's not a name I'm familiar with. Jamari Taylor, running back. I don't know where he went. I can't think of that right now. Let me know. Senior Bowl hype? Okay. I'll have to learn some names. I don't recall seeing him play this year, and if I did see him, it didn't stand out to me. I mostly watch SEC football these days, some Big 12 football, some Big 10 football, not too much. Anytime there's a kind of like a premier game on for college football, I'll catch a little of it, or if I'm with people, then they want to watch it. If it's Big 10 wise, but mostly I'm just watching the Horns, SEC, and I'll still catch a lot of Big 12 games. Not as much as I used to, but I pull for the Raiders. I watch the Red Raiders. Oh, Virginia. Okay, that's definitely why I'm not watching much of ACC football these days. For me, it's like a Okonkwo. 3 straight seasons over 50 receptions, about 500 yards. Not good in the touchdown department. Decent at getting targets. Okonkwo is pretty interesting. Is he still a worse pick, though, than unstacked than Evan Ingram? Evan Ingram was pretty bad. I think I'm still going to go Evan Ingram, though, for this build to go with Bo Nix, just because I want the stack more than just an unstacked player who I think is not any better. Tua's going undrafted. Aaron Rodgers. For some reason, I almost thought that's not what I wanted to do. To go 3 tight ends with Trey McBride, like why? And the answer is just the volatility of the position and injuries and things. One more running back probably would have been just as good of a click. There's just no one there that I'm excited about that I want to get in this range at this point. So I feel like actually tight end was the best value position to still put points up on the board or have an opportunity to put points up on the board. I'm not going to take a fourth quarterback. Not really my style. Chigakonkwo's a free agent. Okay, I didn't catch that. Probably should know that though. I guess it's just his rookie, right? His 4-year rookie contract's up. Could have figured that one out. Yeah, I didn't take him. Obviously, Helm is there. Okonkwo's a free agent. That makes him even riskier that he just lands somewhere and doesn't make an impact. Tight ends being free agents, I don't think that's like a good thing. I want more consistency, predictability, and ability to stack them. So let's review this squad. Yeah, good shout on the free agent. Luckily, I just naturally didn't want to click him though. Did Nick Bach get Chigakonkwo? I know Nick Bach loves getting chiggy with it, and he did. I saved him for you, Nick. I saved Chigakonkwo for you so you could have the opportunity to draft him. You're welcome, bro. All right. Let me see. How we doing on the likes? Hey, appreciate y'all for being here. Make sure you stream. Let's get right into a new one. 26 likes on the stream. Very nice. We got 30 of y'all in here now. Appreciate y'all for being here. Make sure you're subbed. Come say what up in the chat if you're new here. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Garage. We're doing best ball drafts weekly. All the good stuff. I mean, this Wednesday, and I'm going to draft another team. So I'm going to review this one, get right back into it, draft another team. But this Wednesday, I'm doing a PGA stream. I do it every Wednesday. We're previewing the Farmers Insurance Open. We're going to be drafting the Albatross Wednesday night. We're going to be drafting the weeklies on Underdog, the Underdog Open for the Farmers. After we do an Albatross or two, talking one and dones, talking fantasy golf, best bets, all that good stuff. And then, I don't know, we'll see if I do another big board stream. It would be either Thursday or potentially Friday or Saturday. So I think one of those 3 days I'll end up doing it. These 20-round drafts do take a while. The 20-second clock helps. I kind of prefer the 30-second clock when I'm streaming and hosting and talking with people, but still, it is nice to be able to fit it in a little bit faster. I'm going to throw some Lamborghinis in the chat. Boom, boom, boom. If you got your Lambos, throw them in. And we'll get another draft started. And then also become a premium member if you want. I'll give you access to all of my models, all of my data that I build, my ADP tracking, my player notes, all that good stuff, both PGA and NFL. You can get it. I'll give you free access. I'll give you access to it if you become a paid member, a premium member. Also, you get priority in the chat. I'll highlight your chats and stuff, answer any questions you have. And then in general, I mean, I'm pretty receptive to everyone's questions, but you just get priority. And I'll review your teams. If you're a member and you say, hey, sauce my team, review my team, that's just status quo. You guys know how it is in these streets. But appreciate y'all as always. Heart from Nick Bach. Gunnar Helm, a slam. Gunnar Helm's interesting. Gunnar Helm is interesting. I liked him at Texas. He was the leading receiver 2 seasons ago. People forget. A combo boom slap. That's a pretty deadly combo, as we've seen from the Sam Sherman team in 2025. They took down Best Ball Mania. It's a pretty good combo to be somewhat slappy with Burden, a little bit boomer with Derrick Henry at the end of the day. Never heard of golf. Yes. Jeff, do you know why they call it golf? Do you know why they call it golf? Lambos. I love this. Lambo in the chat. Okay. 3683 Dak. Let me throw on. I was gonna throw on some tunes too. And then also, I didn't really draft anyone that I want to like drop a clip for, but no, is that too loud? Is that too much? I think it's kind of that. It's getting late. Monday night. You didn't look up. We're already taken. That's a little golf course humor for you. If you've ever been on a golf course, if you've ever played with your father-in-law, if you've ever played with your dad, if you ever played with your college buddies who swear they're a 10 handicap or a 12 handicap, you know, they'll be out there cussing it up. Just give them a round or two. Wait till you get to the back nine and they swear they make that par putt more often than not. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right when I was getting to the good stuff, the mic goes crazy. God, we've been missing the stories. Sometimes I prime the mic before the stream to try to get over the underwater stuff. I don't know why StreamYard does that. It's kind of weird, but as long as it's not too loud now, I feel like the effect is gone. But they call it golf because shit and fuck were already taken. And that's just a little golf course humor for you. If you've ever played golf with your dad, your father-in-law, your stepdad, your brother, your college friend, anyone, you've been on the back nine, they swear they make that par putt more often than not. I mean, that's just golf for you. You'll hear a lot of colorful language on a golf course. That's just the nature of it. If you want to see someone's true colors, wait until they miss like a 4-foot par putt on back-to-back holes. That's when you'll see how they really feel about the world. I'm just happy to be out there walking in the woods, swinging clubs, trying to get a good shot, But I feel like the more you get into golf, the more angry you get when you underperform. But it's so hard. All right, this team, 3-6, 8-3. Dak Prescott I should have gotten more Dallas on this team. I don't know how I would have accomplished that without getting Ferguson. And I wasn't prioritizing Ferguson. I didn't get Javonte. It would have had to have been Ferguson around pick 130. I just didn't prioritize it. I would have liked to maybe do that so I had more Dallas buy-in. I got Bo Nix with Mims and Ingram. That feels like the right amount. Not too much, but it's fine. If I would have gotten, instead of going Kyron Williams, if I would have potentially gone with RJ Harvey, that could have been a nice, big buy-in to the Denver team stack. Jacoby Brissett, I think I did that perfectly right, where I pulled up just a little bit ahead of ADP, but nothing crazy. Michael Wilson after I drafted McBride for the double stack with Jacoby, assuming he's their starting quarterback. Why not? He looked the part for the second half of last season. They were dropping back a ton. They didn't win a bunch, but they threw a bunch. Okay, I got Bucky Irving and Kyron, my 1-2 punch in rounds 3 and 4. That was nice. Guys that I like in that tier 3 running back range for me personally. Kenneth Gainwell, I'm big in on. Where's he going to land? We don't know. Tyrone Tracy's going to be the starter for a little bit. Is Scottaboo going to be full health coming into the season? Doubtful with that terrible ankle injury. But even if he is, Tyrone Tracy can find some utility. And I don't need him to do too much on this team. Dylan Sampson, Trevor Etienne, just some year 2 running backs. Why not? I mean, they might not do anything. We might not need them to do anything. Lamb stacked. Egbuka team stacked with Bucky. I like that. Michael Wilson, we mentioned him. Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison. And then we got some guys who are always on the field. Jerry Jeudy, Trey Tucker, Trey McBride, my elite tight end. Dalton Schultz, also on the field quite a lot. And a top target for Houston, Evan Ingram, because of the stack, even though he's dust. I do like this team. This is a fun team for me. It's pretty balanced build. It's nothing crazy. I didn't really go the elite tight end 0 RB route. I didn't even go the hero RB route. I think, if anything, my draft capital at wide receiver at first was shaky. But then once I got QJ, Addison, Jerry Jeudy, Tucker, I feel like it really made me feel more comfortable with the way that I drafted it. And I have some depth there. So not too bad. Jamari Taylor. I have to pull him up. I don't know enough about Jamari Taylor yet. It's very early. Wait a second. There's something new in the lobby. All right, we got the big board, the little board. Big board, 3 out of 12, 110, 110, 558. I like the 3 out of 12 aspect. It makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. The 110, 110 is not too intimidating. The 558 is kind of bigger than I would want it to be excited about a finals team, where if you finish in the top 400 to 300, I guess 750 is... a top 100 team being worth 2,000. Now we're talking. But to feel really good, you're going to want a top 20 or a top 10 finish. I mean, a top 10 finish is insane. A top 20 finish feels pretty good, though. So, man, the odds are not in your favor. Obviously, a large tournament, 250,000 people. The little board, 212, 110, 110, but only a 315 final. And if you get there, I mean, honestly, there's just not a whole lot for me there unless I'm finishing in the top 5, which seems really hard to do. In a 315 final is not so bad, but you'd want to have like 2-3 final teams in the little board to get there. So I don't know if I'm going to enter the little board yet. The War Room is a 4 max, 212, 210, 210, 30 seat final. Very small final. $100 to max it. And to get your $100 back, you would need, so in the final there's only 30. Before that, it's going to be 150. So if you make it to the semifinals in the top 150, you make half your money back. You have to get to the finals essentially, or close to the finals. But yeah, top 30, right? So you have to get to the finals to get your money back. And then if you end up getting like 10 out of 30, it's not bad. It's not great. You still need a high finish there. Even 4th place, 5th place, that's pretty hard to get. But this tournament is small enough. This is more interesting to me. Last year, the War Room filled before I could do it, before I was comfortable enough to want to get into it. It feels like something I could slow draft if I want to get into it. I'm not going to enter them yet. The bigger board, which means the biggest board's right around the corner. The bigger board's $100 this year. A 2,000 person tournament, 23 seed final, 412, 28, 18. That's a pretty nice advance. The 18 is a little risky, but there's 30 grand up top. This is a nice, I mean, it's a 5 max. I don't think I would do 5. I would do like 2 or 3. And then making the 23 seed final on 2 or 3 teams, you'd still want to have a top 10 finish. So I like the bigger board setup. I think the War Room is interesting potentially. I'm not crazy about the little board. The big board is just it is a large field tournament, so you're gonna have to go for it all. Let's jump into a big board. I'm being pretty selective on rookies right now. I'm letting everyone else take them at the expensive prices, and I'm getting the guys that I know I like, and I'm learning more about them. Is kind of my current approach to rookies. I'm being a little bit guarded. I know people get really excited about rookies they like, but I'm going to take everything that people say with kind of a grain of salt until I find out for myself. I know I like Jeremiah Love just fine. I'm still warming up to paying the price for him. I know I like the top 3 wide receivers. I need to look more into Boston, the Washington wide receiver. Like Denzel Boston is a guy where I start to think about, is that the right ADP for him? I don't know yet. But like Lemon, Tate, Tyson, I want to get some of them. I think Bindles and I drafted Lemon last night as our wide receiver 4 on a team. That felt like the right spot to take him. The running backs I'm not crazy about. I like Casey Concepcion. I've seen him play a lot. I like him. I like Mendoza. I want to get some Mendoza teams going, which means, I mean, I'm drafting Trey Tucker, but who do I take earlier than that? It's going to need to be finding a way to get Genty or Bowers. So probably like a Genty team or a Bowers team. If I can get Bowers in the 3rd round, that's a clear signal for me to target Mendoza. I know PPR has been talking up Jeremy Bernard. I did see Jeremy Bernard play. I think he is a good value where he's at right now. Past that, anyone's guess. Hopping in, Nick Box ready. We got Nick Bach in the 2 spot again. I'm in the 3 spot, so I'm going to be screwing with Nick's picks the entire time, just sniping him left and right. P-Punch in the 4. What's up, brother? Good to see you again. Thanks for being here. Seth Green looks familiar. What up, Seth? We got Legion in the 10 spot. Shout out to Paul. And then who else we got? I think that covers it. Nice. Napgod says, do you like Damon Claiborne? I don't know enough about him yet. I honestly don't. With Claiborne, wait, where'd my notes go? Oh, I think I hit it. There it is. Boop. I hit my notes. Wake Forest, running back, Claiborne. I've seen some positive things. I think he's a guy that probably gets drafted in like maybe day 2, probably day 3. I'll take some Puka here. I go back and forth between Puka, Jamar Chase. I'm happy to take either one. I'm not going to be too picky up at the front of the board. Let me make a Puka team. I've already made a Puka team. The first big board draft I did was a double stacked Puka Stafford and Devontae Adams team, and it felt pretty sweet. I meant to enter. It was during when the big board just opened. I meant to enter a slow draft, and I accidentally clicked a 20-second clock, and it snapped filled. I was the last person to join the draft, so I ended up just sitting there drafting a team. I was like, okay, I guess we're getting into this, and so I did a Stafford double stack. Yeah, Napgod, tell me more about Claiborne. About Damon Claiborne. I don't know a whole lot. Nice. Not if I snipe you first. I've got Nick sandwiched against the corner. P-Punch and I are just going to take every player that he wants. I already know what he likes. I mean, I'm going to be taking Chikakonkwo around before you think I will. All of the picks. Who was it last year? Was it Sus that was drafting like a shit ton of Amari Cooper last year? I remember I went live with Nick Bach, and I think it was Sus, if I'm not mistaken, and it just cracked me up hearing about how much Amari Cooper bags he had, and I was like, man, wouldn't be me. Take my Chikakonkwo. Don't tase me, bro. Don't snipe me, bro. Okay, I'm going to x.com. Hey, whoa. Sweet. All of a sudden, a bunch of follows. Hell yeah. Guys, I have over 1,000 followers on x.com now. I'm honestly a little proud. I'm bragging just a little bit, but that was kind of a milestone for me. This is my fantasy football, at FFB Garage. I made this just under 3 years ago. It's not my personal Twitter. I have my own personal Twitter that you'll never find. And I never thought I would get to 1,000. But I had like a goal in the back of my head. At first, it was just to follow people that I liked. And then it was just to hope that people would follow the stuff that I'm doing and like what I'm doing. But to get to 1,000 followers, it picked up steam. I was at like 700 for forever last season, and I thought that was pretty good, and I didn't really care. But then I was like, maybe I can actually get that to 1,000. And for some reason, in the last like 2 weeks, I picked up about 100 Twitter followers. So that's pretty sweet. So I'm feeling excited. Makes me feel like I'm putting out some good followable content besides just being annoying and promoting my own when I'm going live and things like that. Oh, damn you, P-Punch. Puka Nico, the combo that's never won, but maybe this time. It's never worked out before, but maybe it will this time. So yeah, follow me on Twitter at FFB Garage. I was going there not to talk about that at all. I got sidetracked. I was going to go retweet the fact that I'm live right now, just in case Anyone's out there? Boom. Just creeping along on x.com and wants to come jump in. Join us from Twitter. Come get in here on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter for whatever reason, that's cool too. But jump over, click the link, get in here. I have it linked, the pinned post in my profile on Twitter. You can find it all over my profile anyways, but come get in here on the YouTube. Make sure you're subbed. Hit the like for me. Come say what up in the chat. Get in here. Be a part of the community. The inner circle, we like to call it. We mentioned it all last year. We talked about the inner circle. We'll start reintroducing the new viewers that we've gained to the inner circle, how that works. Damn, all the picks I wanted gone. I'm going to have to take a running back here. I took T. Higgins. I'm just pissing right now. Someone's got to do it in this room. Might as well be me. No one else even has 2 wide receivers. I've got 3. Old school. Piss boy. Best ball, bro. Tactic right here. What was I going to say? I'm getting so thrown off. I'm back over looking at Twitter. What else? The board. Josh Allen goes. Yeah, Josh Allen's kind of pinned to the 3rd round. I was predicting that Drake May was going to be stuck in the 3rd round. And sometimes he does, but he's more of a 4th round pick based on his current ADP. All right, let's see. Yo, what's up, Steve? How we doing, brother? Good to see you. Yeah, that was definitely Sus Edwards, Nick. An age limit on taking players in the big board? No player. You can't draft any players that are at risk of retiring. Is a good rule of thumb. But every year, guys randomly retire. I think back to Devontae Parker. Last year, who was it? Somebody like retired out of the blue. There's always somebody. Every year there's a player or two that's like not even that old that retires that we're drafting. How we doing, Steve? Okay, so Nap God says, to me, Claiborne is a better version of Emmett Johnson. Emmett Johnson, of course, the running back from Nebraska, should be a day 2 pick. Had a breakout year at Nebraska. He could be someone's RB1. He's got early starter potential, so it's a interesting comp within the draft class. I like that. Good vision, tackle breaking, hands are okay. Negative, hands are okay is a red flag to me, but the negative that he may struggle to see the field and pass blocking is a bad thing. Okay, gotcha. That's tough because you got to get on the field. And pass blocking seems to be like an easy way to get on the field, right? Nick Singleton works his way up to RB2 on the board for the rookies. He could, right? Things could change a lot. 7 RB team incoming. Yeah, this feels like a 7 RB team. I'm gonna have to get him in the middle. I can't wait too late like I did last time. I don't like the guys who are late. Yo, how we doing, my friend? Hit him with the gritty. Says Puka Henry, AJ Brown would have been the ideal start for me. Yeah, could have gone that way. Could have gone that way for sure. I almost took Chase Brown. I thought about taking Chase Brown here or Derrick Henry, and then just getting one of the remaining receivers, whether it's Olave or AJ Brown. And I don't know. I kind of just ended up this way. So I'm going with more of a 0 RB build, which means, hey, I might want to pay up for an elite piece. Maybe a quarterback earlier than I would expect to get one. I'm not going to take like Kyle Pitts or something, so I'm not going to go with like a tight end right now early. Yeah, Amari Cooper retired. Okay, I'm on the clock. Scottaboo goes. Harvey is still there. This is my lucky day. I have Harvey in my tier 3 running backs. And there's another guy that I don't want to say his name that I like on the board right now. I mean, there's a few guys that I like. Okay, there goes one of them. Sniped. We'll see what happens. Because I feel like if I do go with this kind of build, this like technically I can make a hero out of Harvey now. I'm really solid at wide receiver. I can take some late guys. I need to get some more running backs in the middle rounds. Tyson goes. Claiborne is very interesting. He's a spike week waiting to happen, but has some holes. Makes sense. Boom. Let's do this. I'll show you guys on screen. We'll do it tall. Actually, it covers too much of the draft board. Let's just go. Let's go. I'll just kind of read off the comments. Bring some up when I laugh about them. Okay, I'm between Lamar Jackson and DeAndre Swift, and I think I'm going to go DeAndre Swift here. I said it to you guys in the last draft. I actually have DeAndre Swift in this tier 3 running backs with RJ Harvey. I have him ahead of RJ Harvey. I still take Harvey because he's closer to ADP ahead of him, but I have Swift as a top, easily a top 12 running back. Easily. I have him ahead of, I don't want to give too much away, but I have him ahead of a lot of guys that go ahead of him. But I want to stick to ADP, so I'm not going to just like draft him in the 2nd or 3rd round. I'm going to try to get him where he's at and get the right amount of him. In hindsight, Myers asking to be traded. Cooper straight up retiring were perhaps indicators how the season might go for the Raiders. 100% coolers. Yeah. My high on Worthy after Casey signed Bieniemy back. I think that's a good kind of signal. I am higher on Worthy in general because of my Longhorn bias. You know, I'm trying not to be too much of a homer this year, but I do like the Horns, so I will kind of lean. Oh, Cortland Sutton going pick 56. Is that where he normally goes, or did he go really early? Is that where he's normally going? What is Sutton ADP? I almost took him last draft. Wasn't he later? I guess I just had a good 57. I almost had a chance to get him in the early 60s last draft, where I took Michael Wilson, or it was like 60 something, 64, 65. But anyways, yeah, Swift, the team, the environment, the offensive line, the coaching. Give me DeAndre Swift at pick 51. And it's more of the opportunity cost of taking a QB this early more than it is not taking Lamar Jackson in the 5th round. I'm just not going to be taking a lot of expensive QBs early. I'll just kind of float my way with the mid to late QBs. In managed leagues, in redraft leagues, I'll take Lamar Jackson. I'll take Drake May. I'll take Josh Allen if I can get him. But in best ball, I'm kind of going to craft together a team that doesn't rely on so much elite QB. Javonte Williams goes a little bit early in this draft. That's pretty sharp. Yeah, Paul's team. Paul goes with the anchor McCaffrey and then just pissing down the board. London, Flowers, Adams, Odunze, McLaurin. McLaurin's a very nice selection there at 63. Sharp pick. Waddle keeps going higher and higher. So I have back-to-back running backs after starting off with 3 wide receivers. I'll catch up with you in a sec. Let's make this pick. Diggs, Evans, Michael Wilson's still there. Ramondre is still there. I'm going to go Michael Wilson again. Over Diggs, over Evans, I guess so. I feel like Diggs still had a pretty decent year. I felt like that stalled on my pick for a half second. Maybe I'm losing some connection. I don't know if I need Ramondre on this team. I can get some more like middle running backs. If he's there, I'll think about it. I might, if Diggs is still there, I would think about that. Him or Ramondre kind of at this point. Even, I don't know that I need, Hurts would have been interesting. I don't know that I need Dart or Daniels. I win Diggs. I'm getting that 5th wide receiver. And then I can hammer some running backs in these middle rounds. Quarterback-wise, Joe Burrow's gone. I didn't have the chance to stack him with T. Stafford probably goes before he comes back to me. We'll see. Just don't know. Stroud will go late. I can get Stroud. Nix has been pretty attainable. Caleb Williams is gone. Brissett, super late. Seems an easy one. And then obviously May is gone. I really did think about taking Ramondre there. I don't know what's going to happen between him and Travion. I think Travion is better. I think Ramondre is still like a top 30 running back, potentially. There are guys who go much later than him in the draft that I like better. If he's going to be stuck splitting the work with Henderson and he can't eclipse 200 touches in a season, he has a little bit more limited value. Obviously, in best ball, we just need him to pop off in 1 week. But ideally, I would like him to be a strong season-long play. So I feel like Ramondre is a little expensive. He can work on teams. I know Gritty's not going to like me saying that. Sorry. Pete Carroll was a mistake. It was rough. Stop using reason coolers. Right. And Creout says, yeah, the Raiders just, man, went downhill fast. The O-line went downhill so fast. Genty was getting hit behind the line constantly. Stafford does go. Stafford is impossible to push. I've noticed that. He gets stacked with Kyron in this one. Like, what? That's okay. I had a lot of chances to take so many quarterbacks. Bring back Vince Young. Let's go. Yeah, I don't want to see Mendoza get killed either, Steve. I don't know how good the free agency class is for linemen, but they got to do something. Interesting. A lot of O-line talking here. Interesting. Yo, what's up, Panther? Tyson's ADP rises after draft night. I don't know. I'm so between Tyson, Tate, Lemon, even Boston. I gotta learn more about Boston. I think he's more of the obvious number 4, but let's make this pick. We'll talk about the rookie wide receivers, where they're going now, where they might go after the draft. A lot can change after the draft, right? I'm just queuing up a bunch of quarterbacks in case I don't decide what I want to do here at this pick. Tootin is interesting. I don't have a tight end yet. Laporta is there. to take Sam Laporta, a guy that we're pretty high on. He deals with injury, has a down season. Let's get him on the bounce back. You know, top tight end in his rookie year. Mahomes, Dak, and Knicks are all there. Do I take Knicks for the Harvey stack? I kind of feel like I should. Over Mahomes and Dak Prescott, but I'm going to do it. To me, they're all in a similar range, and maybe I can backstack Mahomes and the Chiefs a little bit easier with like Worthy. But then after that, what do you do with Dak? I searched Dak. With Dak and the Cowboys, Ferguson's the only chance, so that was kind of a slim bet. I feel like I just doubled down on my investment in Harvey here, get Bo Nix. I know Harvey's going to catch, you know, a good amount of balls. 47 receptions, 5 receiving touchdowns. I like that. Stack him up with Bo Nix. So to me, Bo Nix, Dak, Mahomes, it really matters on the team build that I'm going for. And making sure I'm making the right investments. Like, obviously, straight up, if it's a redraft league, my home league, do I take Mahomes ahead of Bo Nix? Probably. Okay. Panther says, you know, the top rookies, specifically Jordan Tyson, Arizona State. Do we think he rises to where Tedroy McMillan was going, T-Mac? He could. It's a fair assumption. Carnell Tate is kind of already priced in where Egbuka was going at his height. Jordan Tyson has some room to move up. I think Lemon has some room to move up. They're all three of them are pretty expensive. Denzel Boston's the only one who's like cheap enough right now, but you could see him falling in the opposite direction is kind of like the scare. So we'll see. Draft capital matters a lot, and the landing spot matters a lot too. Good question. So laggy. Yeah. Wide receivers are overrated. P-Punch has 2 wide receivers. He's got Addison. He's got Jamar Chase. Very interesting. Are there any Broncos in this range I need to be well aware of? The answer is no. Not really. Pat Bryant will go later, and he's a little bit overpriced. A bit overpriced. I could use a running back in this range. Wide receivers here, no one I'm crazy about. I'm very solid at wide receiver right now. I can wait on that. I don't really need any of these tight ends either. Goddard's always fine here. I'm gonna go ahead and take Jared Goff, and I've got him stacked up with Laporta. I think Goff's just a fine pick in this range. And then on my, I could have probably pushed him. I don't know what the guy in the 1 spot's doing 12 times. He doesn't have a QB yet, so I didn't want to risk that. Nick Bach does go for Mayfield with his Hurts. We had Egbuka. Nick Bach, I don't think he had any. I should have checked. He had Gibbs, so I sniped him from stacking up Gibbs with Goff. And then, of course, 12 times reaches for Shuck and Murray, kind of as I was expecting him to potentially do, needing a QB. So, and look, he's got Tyson, Tate, and Boston on one team. Not necessarily my favorite formula. Woody Marks is terrible. Let's draft him. Woody Marks is awful. Let's get him on the squad. I mean, we're at pick 120. So this is essentially where you get like your RB 40, I'm guessing. I get Woody Marks 10 picks past ADP, and I probably have him as a top 36 running back. All ceiling, no floor. This is best ball. I don't need much from him. Obviously, they're going to replace Chubb with some other backs, so they're a candidate to land a running back. We don't know what's going on with Joe Mixon, but I think Woody Marks, serviceable. I need to get this is where I'm going to hammer running backs, get some volume at running back from here on. I'll push. I've got Laporta that makes me feel good at tight end. I'll push tight ends later. I know there's always some quality tight ends in the late rounds. There's no good running backs late. We got to hammer those guys. Huhames has been talking a lot about the top wide receivers too, and I like his opinion. They're all pretty close. There's not so much room for them to move up until we find out their landing spots. One of them could drop. I think the fourth one, Boston, could drop. Or he could rise up. Yeah. I mean, with the rookie wide receivers, Washington has a pretty good history of pumping out wide receivers. USC, Ohio State, and, don't sleep on Arizona State either, but not in the same, I would say, category as like USC and OSU. So it's interesting. Elijah Surratt from Indiana, I think he's a little bit overpriced right now. We should see him fall a good amount until that's like, I'm not going to be comfortable clicking him until much later. No hate on his game. I'm just saying, I think he's the more expensive piece. He's going pick 115, and I don't know how we justify that against a guy like Deebo Samuel or even Juwan Jennings. I think he's similar to Jaden Higgins, and I think Jaden Higgins is going a little bit expensive too. I think Shaheed is more interesting to me. Maybe I'm crazy. Nick Bach thinks he's cooking over here. He got that Godwin to fall. He likes his Hubbard pick. He likes his receivers. Going Gibbs and Henry, and then just hammering receivers. That's pretty fun. If Hubbard gets back to form, 9th round Hubbard's cool. I'd rather have Chuba Hubbard than Woody Marks. Yeah, I think Marks can be just fine. We don't need too much. Yeah, Nick, you got a long way to go. Don't get too excited yet. Oh, Pat Bryant does go. Bummer. I wasn't going to choose him anyways. I think he's overpriced as well. Malik Willis is pretty interesting. I've got my 2 QBs, though, so there's a QB I have in mind. You guys are going to let me get Kenneth Gainwell here? Come on, bruh. I'm going to have so many bags of Kenny Gainwell. So much bags. So heavy. The dude is good. Dude is very good. He showed it. Insane ceiling. Not a bad floor either. Pass catching back. Averaging a fantasy point per touch on 174 touches, essentially. So, see where he lands. He's a free agent. Can it get worse? Sure. Maybe that was his career best year. I don't know. Are we chasing it? Not really, as my RB4, pick 142. Bill, becomes an interesting question here. It's him or Judy who I keep selecting. I flinched. I almost took Bill. I'm going to check out Judy there. I feel like Bill's been falling. I don't want to catch the falling knife. I want to see what happens with that. At the same time, I'm taking Judy every draft, but you already know my reasoning for that. He's always on the field. Bill, on the other hand, wasn't on the field enough. He had a 26-point week. The floor was just very low for him. I think Bill, maybe I should have taken him there. That's probably the right place to take him. I'm kind of an idiot. That's right. That's the right place to take him. The question just becomes, do we think the Washington completely replaces him in a new running back group? Is kind of what that is. That was probably the spot to take him. Oh, well. Omar Cooper Jr. is interesting. Yeah, and he's very cheap. I like that shout. I've been hearing his name a lot. I'm not super familiar with his game. Obviously, I saw Indiana play in a lot of primetime spots, and so I'd be lying if I said I knew a ton about Omar Cooper Jr., but he's part of that squad. I do think Mendoza was lifting a rising tide, lifting all boats kind of thing, but still, Omar Cooper Jr., yeah. Interesting. Very cheap. Fantasy Killing Committee in Washington. Yeah, they kind of did that too. Chris, you saying the price is too expensive or too cheap? I can't. Nah, waiving 26-point ceiling at this price. So I should have taken him, right? I should have just taken him. Should have taken him. Y'all are pretty in on Vidal. Should I take Vidal next? Should have probably just taken. Because, I mean, Jerry Jeudy's nice. I could stop with 6 wide receivers with the guys that I have right here. That's how I feel. But I don't mean, it's a 20-round draft. So it's not necessarily, I definitely should have kept hammering running backs. Look at, there's a run on running backs here. Charbonnet, for some reason, goes. I thought Tracy went a little bit early. What else? Vidal does go. Stroud goes, so the running backs are starting to take off again. Running backs and quarterbacks flying off the board. I don't love the options there. Oh, Rashad White goes to Ike money. I was going to take Rashad White probably there. Let me think about my team stacking before this next pick. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, Kriyath. I should have taken him there. I didn't know what to do. It's hard for me not to click Jerry Jeudy. I feel like I've gotten too comfortable with it. I didn't even really need Jerry Jeudy on this team because now I'm definitely done at wide receiver until like the last round, and then there's not really that much quality picks left. Okay. This is where you take a big swing on a guy like Singleton. Or even Claiborne coming back around. Nicholas Singleton here. When we look at my team stacks, I got Denver and Detroit, Chicago, some Houston with Woody and Nico. Woody and Nico makes sense because I have a big bet on Houston. I've got some Cincy, Arizona, New England, Cleveland. Jonathan Brooks is a fun little pick. Do I want to take a QB? No. I could do Claiborne. Let's go Damon Claiborne. We were talking him up, getting into this. Pick 171. Why not? Tight ends don't really matter. I'm drafting too much Dalton Schultz for the second straight year. Not that he's ever really a bad pick, though. I think this is where I'm headed. $2,661 right now. So I need one more QB, 2 more tight ends, and then 2 more flex guys. Kind of leave it at that. Go back to the board. How many more team-related bets can I make? Let me start. I'm going to type some of those in because I don't think the board is... There's not too much going on right now. These picks are all pretty gross. If I need Denver Broncos, I'm going to go with like a Mims or an Ingram again. I feel like we just did this. If I go with the Lions, it's Tesla, and I freaking love Tesla, so you don't have to tell me twice. Chicago, probably nothing there left. Zacchaeus is not the worst pick, but I don't really see the point. Houston, we know Kirk's a free agent, but Schultz is there. Honestly, probably the best pick available for me. I'm honestly, I'm good with Theo Johnson too. I know Bindles was talking up Terrence Ferguson. Hawkinson is so worthless these days. It's insane. He used to be worth something. Insane. Schultz goes. Not too surprised by that. What else? Team stacking wise, I have a free agent, 2 rookies. The Rams. I could do Ferguson. That's kind of an interesting way to get back on the Rams. I actually like that more thinking about it. The Bengals. I don't know how to get back on the Bengals. I'm not interested in Gesicki or Yoshivas. So we're at a loss there. Ferguson goes. What are the odds? Theo Johnson goes. Man, I'm getting screwed out of my tight ends just like that. 1 round too late. Maybe could have pushed Claiborne even then. Oh well. Patriots. No. Demario Douglas not the worst pick, but I don't think I'm interested on this build. Okay, so those are I did all my, and then Cardinals, and then Browns. Right. Jacoby. Otherwise, nothing. And then Browns. We know Njoku's a free agent. Shador. Isaiah Bond was not the worst player. He didn't score any touchdowns, though. That was kind of, Cedric Tillman was not great. Tesla here. I think I go Brissett. So I don't want to be left getting unstacked McCarthy or Penix. And I don't think I want to end up going Shador. I don't know what's going on with their QB situation. So if I couldn't find the right tight end that I really wanted, I'm going to just keep delaying that pick. I probably should take one here, though. And you guys hate Kelsey that much. I don't think he retires. At this price, does Kelsey retire? Does Kelsey retire? I don't think he does. Maybe I've been listening to too much Davis Maddock. I'm going Kelsey. If he's a 0 all season long, doesn't really bother me that much. I pick 195. 3 tight end build. 20 round draft. If he doesn't retire, he's easily worth that. Even if he has 1 game with 1 touchdown. Hawkinson had how many touchdowns last year? 3. Otten had 1 touchdown. They both kind of had around 500 yards, 40 to 60 receptions. Kelsey, he had a down year 2 years ago, the 3 touchdowns, missed some games though, right? And at least has a higher reception floor, even in his worst season, even if he's going out. So you guys, it's obvious, right? It's pretty obvious, the whole thesis around Kelsey this late, even if it's a gross pick. There are worse picks. Njoku to me seems interesting, but I feel like I would still take a shot at Stowers. What do I even need? I have 3 picks left. I'm still going to need another running back. Tesla goes. That could have been a nice little double stack for me. Oh, well. Barian Brown, says Panther. He's a track runner, sounds like. Interesting. Yeah, Ingram didn't do a whole lot, right? So they didn't use him the right ways. I don't know what with Ingram, other than he's on the team. I don't know with Ingram. Let me go look up really quickly if I can. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you're right. I need to get off the Ingram click. Once is enough. I was team stacking the Broncos last time. Now I actually have Bo Nix. Yeah, the JJ McCarthy effect, unfortunately, didn't look good. Yeah, nightmares. Although he's pretty mobile, except for all these injuries. Upshot tight end, that's like Stowers. Pro Bowler Shador to me. Yeah, you're right, Cobra. I was hanging out in another stream earlier today, and we were talking about the Pro Bowlers and the Shador and things. Wasn't even a football stream, but it was pretty funny. Is Njoku worthless? He's a free agent. I think being a free agent is actually bad for his value. A change in situation, that's pretty risky. But imagine I don't know. Stowers. Tight end doesn't matter with my last pick. Let me get a running back that I like. I'm going to take Manny Wilson. Just like that, Stowers and Njoku go. I have 2 picks left. I think I'm going to get Marvin Mims now. Franklin had gone. Where does Franklin go? I never see Franklin on the board. He must go way too early. 160 is not even that early. I somehow never see Franklin. I should have queued him up much earlier. That's my fault. I still do that. It's like I see Pat Bryant go, and then I just kind of blank out on the Broncos for a while. Franklin went 149 here, so I guess he did go earlier than I expected or was comfortable with, and that's kind of the end of that. People are pretty hyped on Franklin. It's reasonable. Mims this much later to me is fine too. I think Franklin probably does justify, though, where he goes. I can see him being a 13th round pick. I'm not upset about that. $3,772 build. Bo Nix, Jared Goff, Jacoby Brissett. I feel like we just built this exact same team in the last draft, but a lot of Broncos, a lot of Cardinals. So I ended up with RJ Harvey this time, actually, and I did want to get him last time, and Swift, who I also wanted. Got Woody Marks, Gainwell. I can't stop drafting. Singleton, finally got him. Had to reach a little bit for him. Should be fine. Claiborne is fun out of Wake Forest. Manny Wilson, not bad. I liked Manny Wilson going into last season, too. You guys remember me drafting him. Puka Nacua. Nico Collins. The Puka Nico, it's never worked before, but maybe it'll work for us this time. T. Higgins, solid. Michael Wilson, solid. Diggs. I got a little treat for y'all. We'll end it on the treat after this draft, but Stephon Diggs, Jerry Jeudy, Marvin Mims Jr. for the stack, Laporta, Kelsey. I got to look up some tight ends. I'm also on my pick here. Gunnar Helm, Darren Waller. Holy shit. What are we going to do? Maybe just Gunnar Helm. Darren Waller had some studly performances, though. He's a free agent. You guys prefer Helm or Waller in the chat? And then don't forget, this Wednesday, I'm going live doing PGA best ball streams, drafting the Albatross. I'm also drafting the Battle Royale weekly for the Farmers. I'm talking one and done picks, previewing the Farmers, everything fantasy golf this Wednesday in the Fantasy Football Garage here every Wednesday, tournament previews. And then I'll be live again probably Thursday or Friday or Saturday this week doing more big board. And we'll have another Ballsy show with Bindles here a week from today, next Monday night, episode 2, season 2 of Ballsy. So make sure you're subbed. Make sure you turn on notifications. Come draft with me. And thanks for being here. This draft's wrapping up. Cooper Kupp going the last round. Helm, first and second. Or Trigg. I don't know enough about Trigg. He goes the pick before me. I've seen you guys drafting him, talking about him. I'll go Helm. What was his toe? His toe. Helm is good. We can see some year 2 leap from Helm, some development. It's kind of fun. Anytime you can get a player on the worst possible team, Titans, the Raiders, you simply must do it. It's always good for fantasy. Sometimes the worst teams become a good team the very next year. You never know. And also, I left Chigakonkwo on the board for Nick Bach. You knew he's already going to go for him. Yeah, don't draft Olds in the big board. They'll just retire on me. Maybe Waller re-retires. I took Kelsey, but he's kind of different. You know, he's different. He doesn't count, right? This team is, I think we pretty much reviewed it, but the Bo Nix, Goff, Brissett, 3-7-7-3, pretty fun. Strong at receiver. I think strong enough at running back. We'll have to get one of these rookies to do something, and Gainwell lands in a good spot. Hey, if he is a chief, if Travis Kelce doesn't retire, if Brissett's the starting QB, we'll be in a good spot. And you know, anytime you can draft Stephon Diggs, that you're going to be happy with that decision, because we all know exactly where I'm going with this. And as soon as I can find the clip, we know that Stephon Diggs is a great guy.
Diggs.
Stephon Diggs.
Diggs is the guy.
Diggs. 100%.
I'm a great guy. I'm actually a great guy. There's actually seems to be a few guys that don't think that.
All right. We'll end it on this draft. Thanks so much for being here. Catch y'all in another one real soon. Have a great Monday night. Have a great week. Peace.